Hi there, it's Ivette from Spicy Stitches, and for today's tutorial we're going to be working on this diamond shaped face scrubby. It's made out of 100% cotton. Alright, so let's see what we need to get started. For this project I'm going to be using Bernard Handicrafter cotton, and this is 100% cotton. Now this yarn calls for a 5mm crochet hook, but I'm going to be using a size 4, so that way it can create a little bit of tighter stitches. So in addition to your yarn and to your hook, you're going to be needing a large eye needle, so that way you can weave in the ends, a pair of scissors, and a stitch marker. So let's get started with this tutorial. In order for us to get started, we need to create a slip knot, and we're going to be chaining 8 once we're done with our slip knot. Okay, let's chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next thing we need to do is that we need to create a ring. So in order to do that, we're going to slip stitch to our very first chain, and we're going to create that ring. Pull through. There you go. Now this is the base of your scrubby, and within this ring here we're going to be doing 14 single crochets. So our next step would be to chain 1. And also let me know that as we crochet along here, inserting our single crochets in here, we're going to be working off this end, so that way it won't be in the way. So we chain 1, so we're going to do 1 single crochet for a total of 14. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I'm going to stop here for a minute so I can show you something. Before we continue, you're going to see that you might not have enough space, but that's easy to rectify. All you got to do is kind of scoot over these stitches here to your right, kind of make some space. There you go. You make some space there. I'm also going to cut off this this end here because we've weaved it in enough here. So now we're going to continue. So 11, 12, 13, and 14. The other thing I suggest that you do and get into a habit is every time you finish a round or a row to count your stitches. So that way you ensure that you have the correct amount of stitches for the pattern that you're working on. So we're going to count here. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So we have the correct amount. So the next step is to join with a slip knot to the very first one. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Next step is we're going to chain 1. And we're going to be doing a single crochet right in the same space where you chain 1 and you did your slip knot. So we're going to do 1. And you're going to do 6 more single crochets for a total of 7 to include the first one that you did. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So this is what we have so far. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now we're going to be working in the back loops of our single crochets. And by the back loop, if you turn your work here, you're going to see these V's here. And when I mean in the back loop, it's going to be in this one here. Let me zoom in so that way you can see a little bit better. This is the back loop, these here. So our next step is that we're going to be doing 3 single crochets in the back loop, starting with the very first one here. We're going to go into our back loop. We're going to do 1, 2, and 3. When you get to your third one, we're going to stop here for a minute because our next step is a little bit different. We're not going to be going into the back loop. Now we're going to be using both loops of our single crochet, and in that very next single crochet, you're going to be doing 3 single crochets in there. So we're going to do 1, 2, and 3. Now get your handy dandy stitch marker, and you're going to place your stitch marker in the second of the 3 that you just did, in the middle one, right here, not the second one, in the middle one, I'm sorry. So we're going to insert our stitch marker, and we're going to continue in the back loop now. We're going to continue making 3 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so as you continue with your rows, you're going to be increasing by 1. So this row we did 3. Next row we're going to be doing 4 and 5 and so forth. So I'm going to work one more row with you, then I'm going to let you go so that way you can work on your scrubby. You're going to do a total of 8 rows, and within those 8 rows I want you to count the very first row of 7 that you did. So a total of 8 rows. So next thing we're going to be doing is that I'm going to work with you the next one. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work, and we're going to single crochet in the back loop. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we've reached our stitch marker, so we're going to pull our stitch marker out. Let me pull some yarn here. Okay, and we're going to be doing 3 single crochets in the next stitch, but we're going to be using both loops. So we're going to be going in 1, 2, and 3. And again, you're going to insert your stitch marker in the middle of the 3 that you just created, and then you're going to continue in the back loop. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now I'm going to let you go. So you work your 8 rows. Remember to count your first row that you did of 7 single crochets for a total of 8 rows. And I'll meet you back here when you've done your 8 rows, and I will let you know what is our next step. Okay, I've completed my 8 rows. As you can see here, this is what it looks like now. And what we're going to be doing now is that we're going to be creating a border. So the first thing we want to do is we want to chain 1 and turn our work. However, we're not going to start in this very first single crochet. We're going to skip that one, and we're going to insert a hook, and we're going to be using both loops. So we're going to be crocheting single crochet as normal now. So we're going to skip this very first one, and we're going to start right here, and we're going to go right across to our stitch marker. I'm going to continue along here till we get to our stitch marker. I use a stitch marker, but if you can keep count of where your middle stitch is, so that way you know where you're gonna need to do your 3 single crochets. You don't have to use it, but for me, I need that kind of visual, so that way I know where I'm at. So continue. We're going to continue here till we reach our stitch marker, and we're going to be continue doing our 3 in there. That way it's going to keep the shape of the diamond. Insert our hook. 1, 2, oops, and 3. There we go. We're going to continue along here, along our edge. And when you get to the end, I want you to stop for a minute, and I'm going to show you what to do next before we continue. So we've gotten to our edge here, and just stop here for a minute. Pull some yarn. Okay, what I want you to do next is that I want you to take your stitch marker, and you're going to go into the ring here, and you're going to count up 4 single crochets. So right from the edge here, you're going to count up 4. So you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And in that very next one, I want you to place your stitch marker. And then you're going to count down and make sure you have 4 along the way. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the reason why we're putting the stitch marker here is that when we are working on our edge here, working our single crochets to create our edge here, when you get to your stitch marker here, this lines up with the 3 single crochet together that you did here. So we're going to do 3 single crochet on that stitch there. So that way it'll be, you know, even, and it will take the shape that you see here, this shape, kind of diamond shape here, or pointy shape. All right, so now we're going to continue. So we're going to be doing single crochets. Now you reach your end, so in order for you to turn the corner right in that very last single crochet that you did, you're going to do another single crochet, so that way it can help you turn the corner. Now what you're going to try to do, you're going to try to space out 8 single crochets along this edge here, so that way you can get your border pretty straight. So we're going to start with 1. You do as best as you can. If you do 9, it's okay, you know, as long as it's evenly spaced out. 2, 3, 4. Oh, sometimes it's hard to get in these tight stitches. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so now we're going to continue with our 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to be doing here 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I reach my stitch marker, so I'm going to pull it out so that way I can create my 3. So we're going to be doing 3 inside this very next single crochet, so that's 1, pull some yarn here, 2, and 3. And we're going to continue down working our 4 here to finish off the ring here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then our final edge here, remember, you can put 8 or 9, but make sure that they're evenly spaced out. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I didn't finish that one. 5, 6, 7, 8. So I fit 8. And you're going to do just one more just to turn your corner here. And then you're going to slip stitch to the first one from the previous edge that you have here from the other side. So we're going to slip stitch and we're going to fasten off. And of course you're going to weave in your ends, but there is your diamond face scrubby. Well guys, I hope you like this tutorial. Please bear with me. It's the first time that I'm doing tutorials. I love to crochet and I love to teach others the passion that I have for crochet. So I'll be trying to improve a lot on my videos. But if you have any comments or questions, please post them down below and I'll be very happy to answer them. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, I'll also be posting my links in the description box below. Okay, so till next time and see you. Have a great one. Bye bye.